Hi, I'm Cherilyn Orr, and I'm the author of the book Signals. This book looks at how do we have brain science and the Bible work together to help you raise resilient children. I've often been asked, how does your life look different now than what it was before you understood anything about brain science? So I want to tell you that I was very much into behavior management. It's how do I control children? I'm an educator. I have 7 children. I've had foster children. And so I was always about the rules, clear expectations for your kids and how do we get them to follow those rules? And you must follow the rules. So we had 2 main points. One is that you have to work hard. And the other expectation I had for my children, you need to obey these rules. These rules must be obeyed. I even used to sing a little song, listen and obey the very first time. It was extremely important. Didn't matter what I said, you need to obey. What was my strategies to get my kids to obey? Well, I had lots of strategies to get my kids to obey. I was very reward oriented. You get this privilege, you can earn this, you can do this. So we were going to have fun. And so the children wanted to do that. So that was kind of a reward focus. But man, if you were not going to obey my rules and you were not going to work hard, then we could just sit here. We could sit here all day. We could have fun or we could just sit here because it's up to you. You need to make that choice. So I was all about, timeouts and, losing privileges. And so the focus was on punishment or rewards to get children, because the goal was whatever that task is, we need to get it done. We need to function as a family, and we need to get out the door when we need to get out the door. We need to get our homework done. We need to get to bed. So we had rules for everything. And so one day I was at a friend's house, and she's a behavioral consultant, and my child had a complete meltdown. And my friend said, here, let me do it. Let me. And so within minutes, she had my child sitting on her chair doing what she's supposed to do, where it would have taken me the next hour to do that. I looked at my friend and I said, what did you do? Tell me, I need to know. And she said, it's brain science. I had never thought about brain science. I was an educator, taught special needs. I was a professor. And here I was being challenged into something I'd never thought about before. I said, tell me, I need to understand this. And she said, well, just really simply, think of your brain in three major brain parts. You've got your brainstem, that lower part of your brain, where you're only using 50% of your IQ. And this is when they're in fight, flight, or freeze, And if you come in and you talk to that child, they don't have capacity to hear you. All they hear is meh, 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 meh. And so you got that child, and that's what they're processing. So if you can stop and think about the brain, what does that brain need when that brain is in that red brain state? We need to stop, and we need to calm that child, and we need to make them feel safe. That child could look like they're safe, but they have to feel that sense of safety. And then after that, we need to get them to the next part of the brain, which is that middle part of that brain. And that middle part of that brain is your limbic system. This is when you're stressed, you're worried, you're sick, you're just not your best version of yourself. You're hungry, you're tired, and this is when you don't feel great. And so when you're in that brain state, you need to feel connected. You need to feel that somebody sees you, hears you, and you are valued. Seen, heard, and valued is a really key to come out of that yellow brain state. And we need to be careful when we're in yellow brain because we can flip to red very quickly. And then you have that green brain state. That green brain state, that's your top. This is where you can teach your child because they can do problem solving. They can do critical thinking, and they have the ability to have empathy. They can, at that point, see, hear your perspective. And then you can collaborate and work together. Now, one thing I often hear from parents is, I've told that child 100 times not to do that. And I want to share with you, when your child is in green brain and they're fun and they're engaged, it will take about 12 to 15 times to teach that child a new skill. That same child, when they are in red brain, in that fight, flight, or freeze, it's going to take 350 to 400 times. And they cannot have empathy. They can only do rote learning at that point in time. So if you're trying to get your kid to do their homework and they're just melting down, it's just going to take so much longer than if they're in green brain. So I want you to challenge yourself. Do you want to teach your child 100 times, or do you want to teach them 12 to 15 times a new skill? And then people have asked me, what does it look like now? Now that you've started to implement this brain science into your family, how has it changed what your family looks like, what your culture of your family looks like, or your school? We have schools that are using this approach. It's relationship based. It's not that we are ignoring obeying, but it's done out of a context of relationship. And so we want to have that healthy relationship where relationship trumps everything. And we want to have 3 expectations for our child. These 3 expectations are, we want the child to feel safe. If they are unsafe, they are in that red brain state. So we want the children to feel safe. And we help them to make others in the home feel safe. And then the next part is, we don't want them to be in yellow brain. We want to create a culture, a home of respect, where everybody in the home feels seen, heard, and valued. And the third part is, we want them to take responsibility. We want to have that sense of moral identity and social responsibility in our home, where they are saying, we want everybody in our home to feel, to be in green. But this is kind of what our family starts to look like. But we are a family that mess up. We have a crazy, messy, a chaotic family. And you know what? We do make mistakes. We're not perfect. I am not a perfect mom at all. So I make mistakes. But when I make a mistake now, it's not about punishment and rewards. It's about how does everybody help to manage that red brain state that maybe I'm in that time. So it's like, okay, mom's feeling in red right now. What do I need to do? I need to go for a walk. I need to get myself back to green. But I have a family that can make me feel safe as well. And they can make me feel seen, heard, and valued. And you know what? When I get myself back to green, after I've gone to red, and I may have said something or responded or reacted to my kids in a way that I'm not proud of, then we can restore that relationship. It's a culture of restoration, because we are all in our family. We are all growing in green. Sometimes I look at myself and go, oh, am I leaning a little bit towards this? And then I go, no, this is what we need to be. This is what brain science says is going to create that emotionally healthy child. So this is the contrast between a behavioral approach and a brain science approach. And I think we each need to make a decision. What kind of family do we want? And what color of a home do we want?